Well, since you can't come to the Museum of Printing in Haverhill, Massachusetts, I figured I'd bring a small part of the museum to you. Well, the smallest part. It's our collection of small miniature books, if you will. I think that's repetitive. They're small, and yes, they are miniature. This is a collection I got at the British Museum. They took some of their collections and put parts of them into these nice little books. I like them very much, and it's a little collectible set. This one here was printed in the 1950s in Williamsburg. Again, it's very nicely done. This was a collection that was done in the early 1900s. It is actually a reprint of Gullivers Travels, and you can see they were done for Lilliput. So they are extremely small. It's a very nice little collection. Comes with its little case. There have been various clubs or printers that have done small issues. This is one from a printer in Weston, Massachusetts. They did a little set of them. This is one by Isaac Walton, who did the book The Angler. If you were an English major like me, you had to read that. This was done in the 1800s. And it's been rebound, by the way, because it was falling apart. This is a little collection from various printers along the West Coast. And each organization of printers, starting way in the north and going down to California, did a particular book and had various subject matters, but they were all done by each individual group. So this is the group from Seattle. And again, it comes in this wonderful little slipcase. This is one of my favorites. I've always had this one book by William Shakespeare. This was done in the 1920s, by the way, by the Knickerbocker Leather and Novelty Company. And recently, we were able to find an entire set of them, which is not easy to do. I guess they were trying to show the uses of their leather. This is a collection that was also done in the 1950s, and it was done by the Diamond Typographic Organization in New York City. This group goes back to 1831 or so. They're little, I call them devotionals, because they had little prayers and religious thoughts. So you had several of them in this collection. And then there's some miscellaneous ones that we've had for years. This is one that was done by Thomas Tomasini in 1945. It's sort of a calendar of everything happening that year. This was another Thomas Tomasini handout that he did at some event. And this one goes back, it's a reprint of something that was done in the time of Isaiah Thomas. But this is not the original. I'm sure this was a reprint that was done later on. But if you go on Wikipedia and you try to find the smallest book ever printed, well, it comes up with something that was laser printed in some way. I contend that the smallest book ever printed is this one that you can get at the Gutenberg Museum in Mainz, Germany. Now, it comes in this wonderful little case, and I'm using a pair of tweezers to pick it up, but there you can see the book. I just dropped it. And by the way, it's smaller than a, you ready for this? I'm having difficulty picking up. It's smaller than a tic-tac. I probably should have used an aspirin. That probably would have been better. But I contend that that is the smallest book in the world. This is, again, our collection of miniature books at the Museum of Printing.